The Miami Hurricanes are coming off a disappointing year one under Mario Cristobal in 2022. However, 2023 proves to be maybe a step in the right direction, as there are a lot of nice pieces coming back to this team. They're getting some solid transfers in. Recruiting is on the uprise. Everything is looking in the right direction for this Miami program. However, will this team and their starting quarterback not bounce back from a rocky 2022? Or is this going to be one of the ACC surprise teams in 2023? What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome to my channel. I'm predicting all 133 FBS level college football teams this summer, which means I am doing your favorite team. So hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you know when that video gets uploaded, but there are more ways than that you can help me support my channel. Hey, you're doing one right now by watching the video. You guys can do more by liking, commenting, subscribing, and anything else you can think of to help me support my channel. Whatever you guys are willing and able to do, it would mean a lot to me. Let's talk about the Miami Hurricanes in 2023, a team that, according to many, has taken a lot of steps in the right directions to improve that win-loss record from 2022 and 2023. How do preview predictions work this season? Glad you asked. We go through a roster overview, look at who the team lost, who's coming back, and who's coming in through the transfer portal and recruiting class, as well as taking a look at the 2023 Hurricane football schedule and giving it a game-by-game preview and prediction. So without further ado, let's talk about the Miami Hurricanes in 2023. Quarterback room, well, you do lose Jake Garcia. Had 108 yards, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on 59.5% completion percentage last year. The big part to this Miami offense coming back is Tyler Van Dyke. Did have a very down year last year, although the offensive coordinator quarterback system was not quite a match. Tyler Van Dyke had 1,844 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions last season. For his talent level, that is an abysmal year. Tyler Van Dyke is a lot better of a quarterback than that. They were lucky to be able to get him back. Or I shouldn't say lucky. They were fortunate to be able to get Tyler Van Dyke back to this program, to be able to head this offense in 2023 under center for the Miami Hurricanes. If not, Ja'Cory Brown is a returner back there, but he wasn't dazzling either. Tyler Van Dyke has all the talent. He, a couple years ago, if you remember, really broke out and was a very, very good player. He can absolutely have another breakout year in 2023. I put that in quotes because Tyler Van Dyke is already here. Just had a disappointing match with an offensive coordinator last season. Running back room, you do lose Jalen Knighton, who was your second leading rusher, 423 yards and a touchdown. However, Henry Parrish does come back at 617 yards, 4 touchdowns, was the leading receiver, as well as getting a transfer in A.J. Allen, a 3-star over from Lincoln, from Nebraska. Wide receiver room, what doesn't come back for this Miami team? There's a lot of talent in this wide receiver room that does come back. Colby Young was your leading receiver among wide receivers, 372 yards, 5 touchdowns. Brashard Smith also returns. Frank Ladson, Michael Redding. Oh, and I forgot one, Xavier Restrepo, all coming back to this team. All will be very big parts to the pass-catching unit. None of them, though, got over 400 yards. So the ball was thrown around a lot. There's a lot of depth in the wide receiver room, but trust me, there's a lot of talent here. That if Tyler Van Dyke can have a bounce-back year, that wide receiver grouping is going to be really good as well. When you take a look at the tight end room, well, your leading receiver among everybody last year was your tight end, Will Mallory, 538 yards and 3 touchdowns for him last year. He is gone. However, you do get some guys coming back that will be featured tight ends for this team. Elijah Arroyo and Jaleel Skinner, as well as a transfer coming over by way of Oregon, and Cam McCormick, who could play some minutes for this Hurricane team as well. Offensive line, you lose DJ Scaife. However, you do return Zion Nelson, get a couple transfers in Javion Cohen over from Alabama, and Matthew Lee over from UCF, and then Francis Mauigoa, who is a freshman coming into this program that should help bolster the offensive line as well. 10th overall rated recruit out of IMG, according to 24/7 Sports. Now, defensively, when we move over to, you also have another offensive lineman coming in. I would be forgone if I didn't mention the other offensive lineman, Samson Okunlola, out of Thayer Academy in Massachusetts, 23rd overall rated player, according to 24/7. So that's another offensive lineman coming in there as well. But anyways, as I was saying, defensively, what can we expect from the Hurricanes next season? Well, Antonio Moultrie, Daryl Jackson, and Jordan Miller are all going to be gone off of this pass rush. All of them pretty substantial pieces for this team last season. All of them played some pretty good parts on the defensive line last year. However, with what you return, Akeem Mesidor was your sack leader last year, had 7 sacks last season. Jafari Harvey was second on the team in sacks. He had 5.5 sacks. Najilat Kelly and Leonard Taylor are some other returners that will play good parts of this defensive line this year as well. When you take a look at the linebacking group, Mitchell Aguade, however you say that last name, I apologize. Fifth leading tackler last year with 39 tackles, did have 4 sacks. He's going to be gone, as well as Caleb Johnson, who was the team's, my apologies, something caught my throat, 4th leading tackler last season. Corey Flagg was your 3rd leading tackler and leading tackler among linebackers. He comes back, had 2.5 sacks last year. Keontra Smith and Wesley Bisanthe, again, pronunciation on the last name, I apologize, does come back, and you get a transfer, and Francisco Mauigoa, who's going to help bolster that linebacking unit, and he is coming over by way of Washington State, 4-star rated transfer over there. Defensive back grouping, you lose a very talented player in Tyreek Stevenson. 7 passes defended, which led the team, I believe, last season. Did have 2 interceptions last season as well. DJ Ivy, my apologies, and Al Blades are some other names that leave this secondary as well. However, when you look at what comes back, there's a lot of talent here. James Williams was the leading tackler, or tied for the leading tackler with Cameron Kinchins. Kinchins had 6 interceptions, including a pick 6 last year. Corey Couch is another name that enters as well. You get a freshman in Damari Brown entering this program that should be a nice boost to the secondary as well. And then Devontae Brown is a transfer coming over to this program to help bolster up that secondary. He's a 4-star over from UCF. So a lot of good talent here for Miami. Again, though, a lot is riding on if that offensive coordinator in Shannon Dawson and Tyler Van Dyke can have a resurgence. Your head coach is Mario Cristobal. Again, offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson, defensive coordinator Lance Guidry. As we take a look at the schedule for the Hurricanes in 2023, any game at home will be underlined. Any game on the road is in italics of the slanted text. Any game you see in green is a game I think the Hurricanes will win easily. Any game in yellow is a game where, okay, the other team will put up a fight, but the Hurricanes will win, and red is a loss. You'll get a win against Miami in week 1 as we start predictions for this team. This is a Miami team that is losing a lot of talent. Quick water break. Stay hydrated, everyone. They're losing a lot of talent, especially John Saunders in that secondary. Again, this is a Miami team that did lose to Middle Tennessee last year, but they will not lose to Miami of Ohio. I am predicting easy win there for the Canes. But then it is a big one coming up here for the game against Texas A&M. Could end up deciding which team has a very, very good, maybe surprise season, and which team has yet another disappointing year. And unfortunately, I do believe that Miami will fall on the losing end here. Texas A&M has a quarterback they're very confident about in Connor Weigman. Even though you do lose Devon Achane, some of those other pieces, there's some good talent in the wide receiver room. And this defense is going to be pretty good as well. And who knows if that new offensive coordinator, I am blanking on his name, Bobby Petrino, was that missing piece for that team. Again, Miami's getting a new offensive coordinator here. This is an opportunity for 2 teams to be able to really see what they have and figure out where this team is going to be headed. I just happen to think Miami is going to be on the losing end of the Texas A&M Aggies here in 2023, but they should bounce back nicely with a couple wins. First against Bethune-Cookman, I think is a pretty easy win for them. And then Temple, I think, will be an easy win on the road for them as well. Temple is a team that I think just needs some time to rebuild and reload. But Miami, I think, will be able to win that one easily on the road as well. Another early bye week. What is it with these early bye weeks for these ACC teams here, right? I'm just playing. But you get a home game against Georgia Tech coming up here. Now, do not count out Georgia Tech. This is going to be a very, very good team. Well, I guess not very, very good, but it's going to be a much improved team from where it has been in seasons past with a new head coach in Brent Key. I think that this is going to be a really, really solid Georgia Tech team that can give a run, that can give anyone a run for their money in the ACC. I think they do so here against Miami. I think they make life tough for the Hurricanes, but ultimately I see Miami being able to pull out that win. I think with Tyler Van Dyke, with all the talent they have in the wide receiver grouping, it's going to be too much for that Georgia Tech defense, especially that secondary. Miami will be able to win that game there. I also think they're going to be able to go on the road and beat North Carolina. That Tar Heel defense last year was abysmal. It was bad. And it really depends on how improved that North Carolina defense is this season. Now, offensively, that you do lose your top two receivers, but there's a lot coming back in that running back room. You have a Heisman contender in Drake May at quarterback. These are all very good things on the offensive side for North Carolina. But defensively, you got to see a lot of improvement from that Tar Heel team. I think Miami, with a new offensive coordinator, Tyler Van Dyke resurging is what I'm predicting is going to happen. I think that's going to be a win on the road for the Miami Hurricanes. However, I think they come back home and are going to lose to Clemson. Now, they are not going to make life easy at all for this Clemson Tiger team. In fact, again, if Tyler Van Dyke and company can really get things going on the offensive end, they can give some good trouble to that Clemson defense. But that Clemson defense, I believe, is one of the most talented in the entire country. I think it has a lot of good pieces in every single level. And if Cade Klubnik and company can rebound and spark that offense with a new offensive coordinator and some great offensive play calling and Garrett Riley coming over to be that offensive coordinator, I think Clemson's going to walk away with a win here. I just think they're going to be able to out-scheme Miami, especially from their offensive standpoint, be able to get past this Miami defense. And Clemson, I think, will pull off a win on the road in Hard Rock Stadium against the Miami Hurricanes. But Miami should be able to bounce back nicely and beat Virginia. Virginia is not going to be good this year. That is going to be a very emotional season for this team after what happened last season with the university at the end of the year. But as far as talent, talking about the football team, I just don't see it this year. They're losing Brennan Armstrong, a lot of talent offensively, defensively. You got a pretty big rebuild process ahead for Virginia in the next coming years. Miami should be able to win that one at home. But then you got a couple of very tough games here on the road. I'm thinking you'll lose to NC State right there. NC State is going to be a team where when you take a look at the Wolfpack this season, going on the road and playing them, you're getting Brennan Armstrong, a big play threat at quarterback that I think is going to be able to do a lot against this Miami defense. They've got some good options around him, and this defense with North Carolina State is going to play a certain brand of football that I think matches up well with Miami, especially if this is a team that continues to see their offensive struggles persist this season. I believe that they're going to go on the road and lose that game to North Carolina State. And I also believe they're going to lose on the road to Florida State. I think there's too much talent on that team with Jordan Travis. All the big bodies they have in that wide receiver room is going to give this Miami secondary fits. And defensively for Florida State, there's a lot of versatility. They've added some really good transfers on that side of the ball as well. I think Florida State's going to be a very, very good football team here entering 2023. Going on the road, going to be a tough task to beat that Florida State team. I think Miami is going to go on the road and lose. Now, Louisville is an interesting team coming up here. You get a new head coach with Jeff Brom. Jack Plummer is going to be reuniting with his former head coach. Of course, Jack Plummer played a season with Cal, left Cal, transferred over to be that starting quarterback for Louisville after Malik Cunningham is gone. Now, will he be as good as Malik Cunningham? He's definitely not as much of a dual threat quarterback, and Louisville's got some interesting pieces, and they're bringing in, I think, 25 to 30 transfers on this team. So there's a lot of new pieces with Louisville, but there are a lot of pieces gone as well. That's going to be a very interesting game. I think Louisville could be a surprise team in the ACC this year. The schedule sets up very favorably, but I think at home here for Miami, they're going to be able to pull off the win. Tyler Van Dyke and company do a little too much, and then they also win on the road against Boston College. Losing Phil Jurkovec is going to hurt. Could have made this Miami Hurricane defense pay with him. I don't think they will be able to do as much, yet they give a little fight to the Hurricanes at the end of the day. So Miami, fairly tough schedule here. You got some very interesting games. I see 8-4 at the end of the day. If Tyler Van Dyke and company can bounce back, this is going to be a phenomenal Miami team. But that's going to do it for my Hurricanes predictions. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. See all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.